And Shadow coming to you live from streaming on YouTube and Twitch. I just came back from walking him, and I did this video interview through Indeed for this trivia host position, and now I'm comfortable, ready to talk to you all. Today I am just gonna relax. If y'all want to ask me questions, pet. So, let's say like I'm 23.
All right, Connor. I wanted to, like most YouTubers, let you invade my privacy. So we're gonna start over here. This is my mirror. Up here, all across here, I had my my manga wall phase like everyone else. I don't even watch.
I never had a manga wall phase. I saw this person's channel. Here, I do it this way, so you can see who this is. Literally just this morning, right before I went to sleep. And she talked about community college, that she's going there. I'm like honestly, back then I wish I was going to community college. Wish I went to community college instead of regular college. I would have had a job already. I wouldn't have to worry about anything. I probably would have moved out when most of the stupid drama of my family happened. Mainly with me and my dad fighting with each other, and then my grandpa being sick and then dying, and then my grandma being sick and dying. I would have avoided all of that. I would just be living on my own. But I mean, I'm glad I made my choices, but also don't like I made my choices. So, yep. I don't. My mom gave me anime posters for One Piece as well. It's over there. It's like I forget what it's called, but it's like those metallic posters. You just like it's more like a magnet you stick on the wall. That's why I have. But I don't plan to have a lot of materialistic things when I move out. It's because like to me, it's just more energy I have to waste moving stuff back and forth. I already have to move this desk. I already have to move all my clothes. I already said my bed, but like my box springs, my dressers, my technology stuff. And I just don't want a lot of extra decoration things. Like maybe, if I was living with somebody else and if I move out, they keep all the decoration stuff, maybe. But I never really had this phase of decorating my walls. And this thing up here, let's see. I just got this past Christmas, and I'm like, you know what? It looks dark enough that it looks kind of decent. I mainly did it for stream. But it is what it is.
90% of these anymore. I like to have my favorite moments at eye view, kind of like how people have like biblical scriptures on the walls. So like I like having my favorite moments, like when Norman finds out or realizes that he's going to die in 12 hours, or he's realizing his teacher's going to kill him. Something sweet. These are my tag things I had to wear, badges, when I went to conventions. Now listen, I don't care if you think that anime's cringe, or you think conventions are weird, or if you think cosplaying is weird. I don't care. It's fun, and I like to go. Oh, this is my little sweatshirt, my laundry pile.
I mean, no offense, you definitely look like someone who does. Just saying. I don't know what people think about me. They just probably think I'm fat and ugly with long hair for some reason, but besides that, I don't know. But like, you definitely look like someone who does. Like you basically look like a boy besides your face, your makeup on. You have all this anime stuff. Like, I'm not surprised.
And then we have some Ted Nivison merch. See, the greatest part about being a minority is, but YouTubers will just give you free things for no reason. He just sent me a DM. He's like, hey, do you want some merch? And I was like, yes. Sometimes I think they make me think I'm special. You can't watch while I'm doing it. What are you? I'm trying to do a room tour.
I just want to watch you.
No, I can't perform with an audience. Not a live one, at least. This isn't a stand-up comedy bit. Okay, I'm gonna close the door. I'm gonna close the door. I can't do this. Okay. Over here we have Nick Wilde. There he is. Oh my God, look at him. Look at him. This is from my favorite Studio Ghibli.
Yeah, I understand. That's kind of cringe having your parents come here. But like, I feel like it's kind of rude doing that, what she did, even though she was uncomfortable with it. But I was like, I don't know. I wouldn't want someone to be there either, but like, I wouldn't like kick them out. I mean, my room is, I don't even have walls. I'm just an open space. So people just walk up to me anyways, and I don't care. Half the time I'm masturbating, and they catch, like they walk by, they're about to talk to me. I stop as soon as I hear the ground squeak. It's like it's kind of obvious what I'm doing. And at this point, I'm just used to it. So, but anyways, yeah, I want to kick someone out because I don't think. I mean, I can't shut a door to anybody.
Ghibli, I don't know, movie. Now listen, okay, listen. I know it's a good movie. It is. It's just kind of like emotionally confusing because like for half of the movie, like they're like, oh, we're gonna fall in love, and then we find out they're siblings, but they're not actually siblings. But like we think that they're. Like, it's good, okay? Just, okay, over here. I like to keep my windows open at night, just to kind of train myself to get used to that. I can't see anything. They can see in here.
It's kind of weird that she's 20 and I'm 23. So she has to be the same age as my cousin, who's like, when my family hangs out, I hang out with my 3 other siblings. Now my brother-in-law and my cousin that's this age. I'm just like, God damn, dude. Actually, I guess a little bit older maybe than my cousin because she just graduated from high school. But like damn. The older I get, everyone's like being more like she's 20 years old, according to her, and it's like she already had this many subscribers and she's in college and stuff, and I'm just like, makes me feel like inadequate, you know?
But I can't see. Okay, I haven't cleaned these out in so long. Oh, a recorder. This is where I spend all of my time. All of my time. What? Say hello. Hi, I'm Spider-Man. I'm Spider-Man. This is the Mob Psycho poster. That's Reagan. I love Reagan. Like, listen, I don't really watch My Hero anymore. I don't know what's going on. I just think he's just a fun guy. And then we have the first 3 chapters, or the first 3 volumes, I mean, of Spy Family. Listen, I love Spy Family. It's probably my favorite anime right now. Can you tell that not a single boy has ever come into my room before? Like, oh, and then we have Meredith and Adrian, or Ladybug and Adrian. They're so cute. If you don't know anything about Miraculous Ladybug, I need to stop. No, okay. Miraculous Ladybug, there's 2 people, but there's 4 ways that you can, like, ship those.
It's kind of weird because I have like a younger cousin that's into that as well. Like she's still in high school, and I'm just like, wow. And she basically told her mom that she has waifus, but of course my aunt's a conservative. She has no clue what the hell that means, probably. And she's like, oh, she is attracted to a random character in TV. I'm just like, okay, really, you haven't been? But whatever.
Those 2 people, whatever. But this is the only scenario when they both like each other. They have a crush on each other. So, and then we have George with Miku here. Oh, and then we have my crayons. I've been raving about my crayons. Everyone likes my crayons. Oh, come with me. I'll show you what I colored recently. Yeah. I don't know her name, but she's from Animal Jam. Look at that like coloring technique here. It's a little darker towards the ends. So, yeah. Oh, and my sensory slug. I just got this.
Hey, by the way, who's filming her? Like, why would she be comfortable with her mom while whoever's filming her?
Recently, if you played with LPS growing up and you like that ASMR sound of the little pet shops walking across the table, let me give you an example.
Oh, that might have been a bit for mom then. That makes more sense.
No, wait. Like that sound? That's a nice sound. Why did I have that in my pocket? Well, I found him the other day, and look at him. He's next to Norman. I waited 6 months for this thing, and all he does is stand there. Do you want to know how much he was? Can you guess? How much do you think he was? I'm getting ahead of myself. I haven't showed you my drawing setup. Oh, wait, I have Uno here, and I got this for, in case I'm in a scenario where I'm, like, waiting in line for something, and we're all sitting down, and we have nothing to do, and I pull this little number out, and I go, guys, who wants to play Uno? And there's enough for everyone, and it's just like, oh, wow, you're so cool, Asia. We should be friends forever. Okay, so, all right, listen. Okay. So I have this picture frame, all right? And I didn't have any pictures to put in it, so I just put Levi in here. I don't see there's anything wrong with it. So this is an XP Pen Pro tablet. Look how nice and big it is. Look at that. That's amazing. That's like what the pros use. Now, I didn't buy this. It was on the Amazon shoot. They got this whole tablet just for a 10-second bit. It's like $600, $700, something like that. So after we were done filming, they were like, so do you want to take any of this home with you? Because we don't do anything with these. And I said, I'll take the tablet home and the wireless headphones. And they sent it to me. This is a Steven Universe End of an Era notebook. My parents got it for me for Christmas. This is one of my favorite things. Oh, and then Wirt. My friend Lisa gave me this the first time she came over. I don't know if she watches my videos, but here's the thing. I'm scared to put him on a jacket because I fear that I will get sick of the jacket and then he'll be on there forever. These are CD and Blu-rays of animes that G-Kids, the company, gave to me. They were like, do you want some of this for free? And I was like, shoot, yeah, but I don't have a CD player. These are tarot cards from
You want to have a laptop? Or I can play Agent 2 or something? Buy a DVD, I'll use my laptop to view it, you know? I mean, I think my laptop still works. The charging port's kind of jank, but like, that's how I would use if I have the DVD.
The Glossric Book of Spells, Star versus the Forces of Evil, super nice. Oh, and there's George again. He's having a great time. And then down here, we have the world's smallest Gumby and Pokey. Okay. At Hot Topic, you can get these blind bags, like, from Security Breach. And I got this, and this one, it's, what's her name? Roxanne and Monty. I've mentioned this before, but I like to clip onto my, like, buckle jeans, and it's like I have a fun friend with me all the time. And then this is my favorite show, Star versus the Forces of Evil.
You know, I always thought it was kind of cool seeing people with all the, pins and to their backpack and jacket, but I just felt like that'd just be so uncomfortable. Just like, you know, I have all this jewelry, I have these necklaces here and Like all this. Oh, it's dusty as hell. Yeah. There's like a space in between here, so a lot of dust and debris gets in this drawer. So that's why this stuff's dusty. But I have like all. I have all this shit here. And I never use it because it's like it gets so uncomfortable. Why do I still have this? Because this was a box set with the thing up there. But this isn't jewelry, but like I should have thrown this away. Like the thing that made it float, it was like one of those gravity things that pulls up and down so it just floats there. Like my cat destroyed the wire to it, so I had to throw it away. So I don't know why I kept that. That's a mini purge time. Oh yeah, this is my wristband to get into Louder Than Life Festival in Louisville, Kentucky. I'm not sure you can tell, but there it is. And of course, all these other necklaces and stuff. I don't wear them. They look cool, but like, it's just too inconvenient. So that's why, you know. I just never got into it. Plus, I wasn't emo. Of course, if I was emo, my parents would just ridicule me. And it's annoying. So I just do what I do, you know. Oh, hi Sam. I didn't see you there. Yeah. I'll deal with this shit later. I'll put it on top of here so I know how to deal with it. There you go. So.
And Steven Universe, the movie. Nolly gave me this. And then the voice actor of Marco Diaz gave me this one. For free. I love getting free things. And then over here, we have what they like to call the virginity corner, where you just have like a bunch of stuff and like, it's like very obvious. Anyway, my favorite anime is The Promised Neverland, season 1. Season 1, we're not gonna talk about season 2. Then we have my friends. These are my friends. And I painted these by myself. Super cute. Okay, and then this is, well, this is where I have all my junk. We have my vaccine card. Oh, little pet shop. See, it's also like the quality of the table, like the kind of wood that really makes the sound aesthetic. Like the table over there, that wasn't good enough for LPS sound. This is a knife I like to have on me in case anyone tries to break in. There's no locks on my door. I found out as of recent that it's normal to have a lock on your bedroom door.
Whoa. We saw your camera guy. Like, what the hell? Is that your friend? Or did you hire them or something?
I don't have one. I would like one.
Wait a minute. You said the guy never came in your room, but he's a guy right there.
Nothing here I can. Oh, okay. What is this? Oh, I went to Disney World like a couple months ago, and I've never met Mickey Mouse. And so my friends were like, "You should probably meet him." And so I did. And I told him, I was like, "This is the first time I've ever met you. It's an honor. It's been quite a while." So we hugged. We had an embrace, and then he like stopped me. He was like, and he requested to give me a little note. And like I don't know, like, should I get a frame for this? Is it that important for a frame? Here's my YouTube plaque. Listen, I'm proud of what I do on the internet, but sometimes I need a release. I need a break, and so I make sure that there's nothing in my room that reminds me of my presence online. Whatever after. I don't think I finished this one. I think that's it. I can't think of anything else. Okay, thank you so much for watching. No, yeah, thanks for watching. I don't know how to end this.
Yeah, I have no clue what contest she does. It's first time doing it, so. Alright, let's go back. Oh, there you go again. Oh, there's you.
This was a long time ago, but talking about D&D earlier.
And I have been, applying to join campaign and stuff. Mainly stuff that I have a lot of submissions anyways from looking for roleplay Reddit. But still, I've been applying. I redid my post to make it a lot smaller and digestible. But let's laugh at the cringe.
I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember exact details of the conversation. I was running a 3.5 D&D game, homebrew setting, and one of the players mentioned it to their coworker. Coworker wants to join. I say yes. I talked to the guy for a bit via text and explained the rules of setting and character creation, which varied rules are being used, significant homebrew, classes and races that aren't available, etc. He grumbles a little bit, but it's not too bad. When I mentioned that we didn't include pretty much anything from Eberron, like Artificer, Dragon Marks, anything like that, he says he'll probably play a wizard or something. I say, cool, see you Saturday. My player mentioned at some point that the guy seems excited, but shady, and we figured that he made some gimmick or min-max character, nothing we can't handle, just says that's a spellcaster. Not knowing his character wasn't that weird, I didn't give it really much thought. Then game day rolls around. Dude shows up, he's got this smug attitude. He reveals that he's playing an Artificer. He explains that it's some kind of gotcha, that he came from a portal to Eberron. His face drops when I reiterate the Artificer class is not an option. He continues arguing about the portal to Eberron, the D&D multiverse, the crystal spheres from Spelljammer. He gets mad, and I guess he expected me to be like, oh, you got me, and
Yeah, I just hate that people like that. Like, I made a comment about this one dude who he wanted a GM and campaign, and he was like, oh yeah, I don't want to be DM, I want to be the player, and I want to make sure, like he literally he grabbed some text from a book saying like agreement or something to play D&D, and it talked about like, oh, you don't say anything without the group's permission, you don't do anything without the DM's permission, and you have to be with the group, you have to follow every single thread. And I told the guy this in the comment. He was like, why are you being a dick? I'm just like, I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to be a dick, but by the way you responded to me, it kind of confirms that you're just, it confirms my suspicions. And this sounds somewhat just like that, like dude who just has to play zone when it's like the one power trip he have or they have in their life, they're going to take advantage of it. I'm just like, dude, just chill. I just hate people like this. Like, they take advantage and want to ruin the thing that's great. Like, unless I just hate the group, or like, you know, these people are dicks or racist or something like that, I would never act this way. And most of the time, if it's that bad, if I'm by myself, I'll just leave. Or just leave when the session's over and never come back, you know? But, of course, that's this whole... this channel's mainly about this situation. But it's just kind of like, come on, dude. You're ruining your chances of having a good time. You don't have to have it your way. Like, it's fun when everyone is working together to have a good time.
And storms out. From what I heard, he got mad again. We found out that his invitation had been retracted. Okay, he storms out of the session. He explicitly doesn't follow the rules, and what? He's surprised when the DM decides to retract his invitation? How shocking! Who could have foreseen this? It's not the gimmicky, stupid lore explanation that he tried to pull, or the fact they didn't listen. It's the fact that he was so smug and proud of himself. I think that's what makes this particularly annoying.
True. Even though his voice is kind of like okay, and I think it's too nasally for me, I kind of got used to it because my voice is kind of bad too. But like, listening 2 times fast is a lot better than this. But that intro thing he just did there is really nice. I really love that. Like, it's super high quality, and it makes you feel like, oh, we're gonna talk about D&D today. But of course, this is kind of like a D&D red flags channel, so.
Note, this story takes place 2 years ago, so I do not remember every detail of what happened, but the main details remain the same. I'm a big Star Wars fan, and I've always wanted to play in a Star Wars tabletop role-playing game. So naturally, when I saw an ad for a Star Wars 5th edition game looking for players in the D&D Discord server I'm in, I immediately jumped at the chance to join. The DM accepted me along with 4.
Yeah, I did one session of one of the official Star Wars TTRPG one time, because I joined my college's role-playing club, and they asked me to join this one. Just like a side thing, wasn't part of the thing. It was like all through Discord and stuff. I did it for one session, and I couldn't, get off of work on Saturday, because at the time it was like my second job ever, so I never like understood that it takes a while to, someone to change my schedule. So I told them I can't do it because my schedule was changed. Of course, they were like disappointed and stuff, and they just assumed I didn't like it. But in hindsight, rolling the dice for it was just way too confusing, and there weren't any numbers anywhere. Maybe like one of the dice was numbers, and it was just like, it's gonna take me like 3 years to understand this. So I don't know. It's just not for me. Of course, I think Star Wars is kind of overrated, anyways. Same thing as Dragon Ball Z. I know it's my dad's favorite stuff, but it's just like, to me, it's just way overrated. Like, I just don't care. Like, especially with Dragon Ball Z, it just feels like it feels like you can't, like, can you just let Goku be a guiding wisdom character instead of fighting and beating up everybody just because? Like, there's no like logical reason for him to train. It's just like, oh, he trains from the same shit he always does, and just somehow he just does. He just survives. He goes to a hypertronic train. Time trainer, and trains and trains and trains and trains and trains and trains, and then he just finally gets stronger for no reason, because literally his design, like his race, is literally like, oh, if you lose you get stronger. It's just a stupid power fantasy. It should just be done. And people say there wouldn't be a One Piece, but like, if you One Piece is like, he's growing stronger, yeah, but it's because it's not like he's getting power. He's not doing training montages all the time. He's not doing the same shit over and over again, getting different results. Like, he's growing with the society. He's going through different types of struggles. He's not invincible, the strongest thing in the universe. He has his friends help him. He fails 3 times and then he succeeds. I mean, sometimes Goku does, but it just does, but it's just like there's an obvious difference. But when you just try and describe it, it's not that much different. But like, it just pisses me off, man. You know.
or other people, and we all joined a server for the game. The DM quickly let us know that it was both his first time DMing and that he isn't an expert on Star Wars lore. Neither of these things are red flags. Some Star Wars fans can definitely be jerks about people not knowing everything and act like gatekeepers about it. And I understood he definitely was looking to avoid that experience. I told him not to worry about it because everyone starts somewhere, and I'm not an expert on Star Wars lore either. One of the other players said he was an expert and immediately offered to help the DM with any lore questions. We determined the starting date for our first session about 2 weeks later. Started building our characters. They were all pretty basic since we didn't want to overwhelm a new DM with a bunch of detailed backstories. My character was a Twilight bounty hunter, but you'll soon see why I don't remember what characters anyone else played. The first session starts, and the DM scrambling to get ready. You're all in the ship. I don't have a map of the ship ready. Let me find one. We chat for a bit about our favorite Star Wars characters, movies, etc. As we wait, it's taking a while. So one of the players says, "Hey, I'm DMing a traveler campaign right now. Do you want one of my ship maps?" The DM accepts gratefully and loads the map into Roll20. The DM makes no attempt to set the scene other than, "You're all in the ship," and none of us have any time to describe our characters or introduce them to each other, as we don't know our relationship with each other or why we're on the ship in the first place. Instead, he jumps right into the action with an enemy ship starts firing at you, and it blasts a hole inside the ship. One of the characters was standing very close to where this happened. The DM had to roll a dex save to see if she could stay on the ship. She fails and gets pulled out into space. Another character, who I assumed was a Jedi, attempts to pull her back with some sort of force power, but also fails. And has to roll to see if he stays on the ship too, and he fails too. And the rest of us have nothing that we can do about it. The DM, realizing that he accidentally killed 2 of his player characters in the first few minutes of the game, says, "Oh, never mind, I'll retcon that. The blast doesn't rip a hole inside the ship, but it does damage it enough that the ship is now crashing towards a planet. Do we know what planets are nearby?" I ask him. "Yeah, Tatooine," he says. Yes, he pronounces it as Tatooine, not Tatooine, and between this and having a ship map ready, I figured that the DM both knows extremely little about Star Wars and also did not prepare anything at all for this session. "You mean Tatooine?" someone asks. "I said I wasn't a lore expert," the DM replies, starting to get frustrated. At this point, 2 of the players just decided to leave. They exit the voice chat and quit the server, saying very little on their way out. Though this wasn't an enjoyable experience for me at all, I was at least planning on sticking around all the way through the first session because I didn't want to be rude or hurt the DM's feelings. There's some awkward silence in the chat, and the DM just decides to cancel the campaign. He leaves the voice chats along with one other player, leaving just me and another guy in there. The 2 of us discussed for a while how weird the whole thing was and how we kind of felt bad for the DM. Yeah, he did an absolutely terrible job running the game, but everyone starts somewhere, and we are both feeling some extreme second-hand embarrassment for him. I definitely feel some sympathy for the guy because, yeah, it is really hard to run TTRP.
Yeah, I feel like I would have done the same thing, or not directly that way. Like the first time I actually did a campaign, first time like I was a DM, I kind of just forced people into the scenario the same way. Like, oh, they wake up in a chamber and they're fighting now, so it's like, oh, I've done this before. It's kind of bad. I prepared for it though. I printed out this paperwork and cut stuff and color things together, and made like an interesting arena with my own version of grids. But yeah, I was fucking cringe too thinking about it now. But honestly, I don't. Everyone that, like, of course the DM is kind of bad, but it's like it seems like his first time doing it. And honestly, he should have just done typical Dungeons and Dragons or something, because it's just generic homebrew world instead of Star Wars. That's what I would consider too, thinking about it now.
PGs. Like the OP said, everyone starts somewhere, and it's important to have patience when you're dealing with a new dungeon master. However, I will say that this is not a problem of lack of experience. I feel like a big part of why this game isn't working in the story is because the DM is not putting any effort into it. The DM had no map ready. It's not like the players went in an uncertain direction and the DM just didn't have a map ready for the unexpected occurrence. No, they were on the ship. The DM established they're on the ship, and he didn't have a map for the ship, didn't have any introductions for any of their characters, couldn't even pronounce the name of one of the most famous locations in all of fiction. I mean, it just shows a lack of care. I think everyone should get the opportunity to experience the magic of being a dungeon master for an amazing party. However, one thing that every dungeon master needs is for people to care, and that includes yourself. If you don't care, your players are certainly not going to care either. That energy is going to carry over, and that is this DM's first mistake. Hopefully they weren't discouraged from DMing further. I hope that they went on to improve their games in the future, but who knows? So during our campaign, our level 4 party was exploring a ruined castle where, as we discovered, a powerful hag was killed decades ago. In the lore we follow, maybe it's like that in the books, I don't know, when the hag is killed, unless its remains are blessed or sprinkled with holy water or similar, it comes back to life as a flaming skull. As you can guess, we met the flaming skull and started to battle. Now, my character is a caster whose offensive spells are very fire-based. He is a little reckless and impulsive, but definitely not stupid. He sees this monster and thinks, well, shit, that thing is covered in fire, so obviously that doesn't hurt it. So I get into position, toss a magic missile, and I hope for the best. Then another player, also caster, has even less attack options. He just says screw it and tosses a firebolt, and it does damage. Not full damage, but it does. At this point, I had never read the Flame Skull's stats, so both myself and my character, after seeing this, learned that Flame Skulls are resistant but not immune to fire damage. The rest of the fight was tough, but uneventful. We killed it, and we moved on. Some sessions later, we were in the woods, and after killing an actual hag ourselves, we finally reached level 5. Now, I was very excited about this. I hadn't had a chance to play much D&D until then, but I did have an interest for a while, and after all the community stories, jokes, and memes, which I'm a big fan of about Fireball being a great spell and super fun to use, after months of playing with my first ever caster, I was really looking forward to finally being in on the joke and experiencing this beautiful, absolutely balanced spell.
Yeah, I never really used. I don't think I ever used Fireball. My favorite thing was Firewall. Like, I had this one campaign we started from like level 5, we went to like level 8 or 9, then we ended. So like I think level 7 or 8, you get level 4 spells, and it's a level 4 spell, a wall of fire or something, and I love that spell. And I think I used it too much to a point where my DM was like, made me cast a Feeble Mind spell on me. And I don't know, it made me mad about the time. Like, I guess it makes sense.
Myself. It was one of the things I was most excited for in this campaign. Well, we leveled up right after killing the hag, and because we forgot to bless it, it became a flame skull and attacked us. During the fight on my turn, as I had already taken a beating, I thought to myself, okay, it's my chance. It might do half damage, but it might also be strong enough to kill this thing. This is it. So I aimed at a beaten skull, described as I engraved arcane symbols in the air and how flames started rising from the ground, surrounding the skull, getting bigger and hotter until, after fully engulfing the unholy creature, the flames burst out into a fiery red thundering explosion, and then the DM says, and you see that it did nothing. Wait, what? Your fireball. It did nothing to the skull. What do you mean it did nothing? It took no damage. It's immune to fire damage. Isn't it a flame skull, just like the one from the castle? Yeah? Well, wasn't that one resistant to fire but not immune? Yeah, but I was nerfing that one because you guys were too low level. But my character just used fireball because he learned that it affects flame skulls. We established that. It hurts them. Oh, well, not anymore, sorry. And so my most anticipated spell in the game was fizzled into nothing. I explained my frustration to the DM, who already knew how excited I was about fireball, but he kept acting like he did nothing wrong. He was only adjusting difficulty. Still, I felt like it was unfair to have a special moment for my character neglected like that for balancing sake. And not only that, I followed the information I learned in game, so additionally, I felt like I was punished for not medicaming. Am I like overreacting? Is it really that common to alter monster stats like that?
It's kind of bad on the DM because he didn't explain further on. He should have been like, "Hey, I did this to make it nicer to you." But like the player's like, right, like, okay, so it's resistant, right? You know, it's like, I don't know. It's just not communication. Like if the DM communicated that instead of just have it happen, then like, yeah, I'd be frustrated too. I'm like, what the fuck?
Alright, this one is a bit more of a gray situation than I normally do, but I'm going to explain my reasoning here. So, drumroll please. Not the asshole! Okay, so there are a few reasons for this. Do I think what the DM did was inherently wrong and bad 100% of the time? No. Every DM adjusts monsters. Sometimes we do it on the fly. Sometimes we do it when we reintroduce monsters. But usually, we try to give some kind of reasoning. I distinctly remember in my first campaign, zombies were a common monster that they faced. So, I had multiple different types of zombies with many different types of abilities, but I gave an in-universe reason as to why. Also, this might be a hot take. However, if I see a player is really, really excited for something, and I don't want to ruin the moment, I will allow them to roll some sort of arcana or intelligence check to realize that what they're about to do is really, really, really not going to work. I don't like those super lame, it just doesn't work moments if they happen too frequently. Sure, it's okay sometimes, but
yeah, that's a good point as well. That's definitely a good point.
there are absolutely times where I don't want a moment to be ruined, and I will give a player a chance to back out before dice are rolled, of course. I'm not saying this DM is an irredeemable asshole, but I do think that this sort of behavior can kind of take the fun out of the game, especially since this player was using their memory to recall specific information about monsters they fought a while ago. That's good. That shows care. That shows that they're immersed. And to kind of punish them for that, yeah, it does really suck. This is going to be more on the absurd side rather than the horror side, but here we go. I'm part of a huge Discord server that's all about TTRPGs, a hub to find games of sorts. It's so big that's not uncommon for ads for campaigns to be there and be filled within an hour or so. Now, as per usual, the mods there have the tendency of being assholes because they can. This is where the person I am referring to comes from. Let's call her Tamara, fake name, obviously. I'm starting to dip my feet in the DM shoes after years of being a player. It's a bit harder than it appeared to be, but I have fantastic players that, even if I screw up the intricacies of the hobbies such as combat and balancing issues, they still enjoy the campaigns I DM. Heck, one of them even writes a diary in character. It's their fancy way of keeping notes. Also, memes galore in regards to some occurrences. One of these slip-ups happened when I made an enemy encounter at sea. I accidentally spawned in way too many enemies at a time, and those turns would take forever to roll around. So, at the moment, I decided to spawn in a huge sea creature to scare them off. At the top of my head, I spawned in a kraken. The party's objective was to keep the kraken at bay by any means necessary until they've reached shallow waters a few miles/turns from where they were. Now, when I told this tale to the server, as you know, people usually do, I described as one player was slapped off deck into the ocean by one of the attacks as collateral damage. Tamara then proceeded to ask, please tell me you killed the character? No. Then you're a garbage DM. She then proceeded to list n number of reasons as to why this whole situation should have been a
What? Like, why would she say that right after? Like, you know, there's like deck saves and all that type of shit.
EPK, and I did not do the encounter correctly because of the Kraken's divine status, and that intelligence is higher than the whole party combined. So I shouldn't be playing it in such an irrational animal manner, etc., etc. Even when I said the setting of my campaign has different.
Yeah, I did somewhere the same thing. I made like a character, like a monster that's normally like lawful good. I made it like just attack like a normal creature because I didn't have a creature prepared for this for underneath water, and one of the players is like, well, they're not, they're friendly creatures. It kind of pissed me off then. It still kind of pissed me off. Like, dude, shut up. I'm the DM here. Leave me alone.
Different rules, and that my games are more of a casual and character-driven type. She doubled down and added later, it's thanks to stupid DMs like you that we, not stupid DMs, get stupid players at our tables who think they can take on a Tarrasque or Ancient Dragon at level 1, or that can't even roll hit point gains for every level up, and a whole lot of nothings I can't bother to remember. This is where it should have been left, but the thing about one of my campaigns is that I'm doing a system based off my own Fire Emblem game. It's honestly a hot mess, but hey, my players are having fun with it, and the story so far. However, due to being a homemade system, it's open to exploits, and in this campaign, I'm dealing with a min-maxer for the first time. The player is great, but part of me fears that due to him stomping a lot of rolls, this may intimidate the players, so I went to the server to ask for the DMs there who knew how to deal with this. While I received some nice tips, like using situations where his min was key to success, or have a specific type of enemy to him, alongside systems that better accommodate my vision for the campaign, Tamara was not so helpful. Here are the highlights of her responses when I presented my problems. You don't do a living world. No wonder you're having this sort of problem. Stop telling me how to do this living world. Who told you to make your own system? You deserve everything bad happening at your table. The only thing moderation there hates more than homemade systems is Ordem Paranormal. I don't know what that is. Again, it's thanks to stupid DMs like you that we have to deal with stupid players. After that, I kind of snapped and told her to shove it because I play my games to have fun, to help others have fun, and she was taking TTRPGs way too seriously. After that, the unexpected happened. She, no joke, pulled out her gaming credentials to justify why she takes it seriously, like her participating and giving 50 speeches when it comes to TTRPGs, her studying tabletop design, being a professional narrator and cartographer, etc., etc. I don't know why that's surprising. People do that shit all the time.
Yeah, I know. Like, there's just like, it has nothing to do with the game. and people just involved. Like, it happens all the time on Twitter too, like, or anywhere online. It feels like when someone's like, "Excuse me, I'm an expert and professor in philosophy, so I'm an expert in talking to people." It's like, no, you're not. You're totally opposite fields. Like, shut up. That has nothing to do with each other.
And yes, it annoys the hell out of me, in case you can't tell. I just said this still doesn't justify her taking this too seriously and acting like her way of playing is the right way of playing. And then the second response arrived. Yes, dear, I take it seriously because it is my job. I have a reputation to live up to, only for me to see stupid and people like you remind me that this gen is making TTRPGs worse by the day. Everything that is consumed is garbage. Everything that you created is garbage. And then people like you come in thinking that I don't have fun with something serious. There's no more autistic, out-of-touch argument like TTRPGs are meant to be fun when your group kills dragons like goblins and the players think that this is normal and impose that on other games, playing zoos instead of actual deep characters and a bunch of wannabe anime heroes. Note, I have autism. Everyone on the server, including Tamara, knows I have autism, so the use of those slurs as offenses to my arguments was, yeah, that was
Yeah, I mean, I'm autistic too. But honestly, I wouldn't care if someone called me that. I'd be like, what the fuck, dude? But, like, still.
After this whole manifesto dump and her fuming, I decided to take a step back and leave it at that. I didn't want to risk getting a ban and not being able to play my future Fist of the North Star and other campaigns with fellow Brazilians. I'm already kind of not interacting there, mostly just posting some stuff to avoid getting banned for being a ghost member or something. I don't know how to end this tale other than that I'm a firm believer of the saying I once heard. The only bad way to play D&D and other TTRPGs when the players and the DM aren't having fun. So, have fun in your games, folks. TLDR, veteran DM brings her gaming credentials as a DM and has a meltdown over me DMing in a more casual manner, and that's part of what's ruining TTRPGs. While I would definitely recommend that this person bail on the server, take their players and run in the other direction, I do sympathize with why they want to stay. With all that being said, I definitely recommend that they at least talk to their players and just bail out. Who knows, maybe the players have similar grievances and hey, they seem to be having
Or, like, just kick that player out and just like, hey, this person's toxic, and they leave it. Like, they could form their own group being toxic players to each other all the time. Doesn't matter to me.
fun, maybe they go along with them. But even if the group is unwilling to bail out with the OP, I still think they should leave. That end rant was pretty bad. It goes past elitism into just straight up dickery. Of course, I don't have a problem with people who've been playing these games for a long time. That is not the issue here. The issue here is the pretentiousness, which is not specific to any people or generation or whatever. It's just something that some people have, and yeah, it's really annoying. A real veteran, someone who really cares about TTRPGs, cares about these games and the people that plays them, would encourage and be supportive of others who are having fun playing these games, even if they're having fun in a different way. Her putting down someone else for just playing a game differently proves she's not a veteran of playing TTRPGs. She's a veteran of being an asshole.
True.
I, 26 female, have a Wednesday campaign that I run for some friends, and I decided to invite a couple new people to round out the group. I posted on the LFG subreddit, as you do, and we ended up interviewing a couple people. There was this one guy who was great on paper. We will call him Quill. Quill seemed like a nice guy, and he was very into roleplay, so I invited him to meet with everyone else already in the group. Thank God I did, because that's when things start to take a turn. First, there was some general social awkwardness, easy to deal with, but overall, people, they got along. He was sycophantic, especially towards the women and non-binary people of the group, and gave them a multitude of compliments, making sure that they weren't spoken over or
That was sycophantic. Let me look that up. Think. Oh my god, don't do this to me. Cinco. Fran?
Sycophantic.
Sycophantic. Pitting or done in an obsequious way or to gain a moment. Survival, subservient, deferral, goblin. What? I don't think you used the right word there, buddy. But, like, whatever.
condescended to by the one other male player, which would be fine in like a normal group of strangers, I guess, but this group Quill joined had been friends for years. We've been playing together in several games, and having been around them for, like I said, years, I can safely say Quill was seeing issues where there were none. Additionally, he spoke positively about robbing people in the past in real life. He seemed to find it funny, and we found it concerning, to say the least. Anyway, the conversation...
Oh my god, I hate those type of people. I hate the people that justify terrible shit. Like, one of my YouTube videos, probably most viewed videos talking about being nihilistic, and literally this one dude that's like, says like, oh, nihilism. He's like ideas like, oh, it's fine to steal people because they have more, like, they have stuff in a fantasy bunker. Anyway, I'm like, that's not good logic. Just because someone has more money doesn't mean you should steal from them. What if you were rich, someone stole from you? You're not going to be like willing to give up your let people steal your shit just because you're rich. Like, no, if people steal your stuff from you, you're not going to be rich anymore. So you're going to care. So it's just so retarded logic.
Quill ends. About 20 minutes later, he DMs me apropos of nothing. Here's the gist. It was a long message. Male player is garrulous, talks over people, and seems to want to explain things. Doesn't seem to understand some cues. Non-binary player is lovely, and seems to have a clear direction of the social environment she wants to create. He misgenders them. He didn't know they were he, they, so not necessarily his fault, but I think it gives some insight into his thought process. Female player definitely loves talking, but also seems to not see some cues as well. I sense they're willing to impose. This group seems emotionally stable, functioning, and very patient with each other and me. I will let you know. I have a timer for
God,
male
this
player.
definitely sounds like a psych major, dude. This really does.
Since he talks over people, I feel like it's alright to talk over them. At this point, I can't really ask, but I wonder if there's some kind of neurodivergence. I'm just going to assume the best, that male player is a hyper self-aware neurodivergent. Non-binary player is a brilliant breath of fresh air. She seems to be very strong, both socially and emotionally. Female player, she has some talk just to talk behavior. She throws things out and I see evidence of unreturned attention. I see myself navigating around male player's ramblings, which is a light cost to patience and will probably be enabling non-binary player and occasionally female player. I see myself pushing around to get male player to speak narratively about himself rather than abstractly or instructively, which can seem condescending. Is there a role in this group that would be helpful for you? This message was pretty.
Yeah, like, if, man, it just sounds condescending the whole time, dude. Like, it's kind of just like, if someone said that, and the person was just quiet the whole time, sure, I would take it more seriously. But they're like, according to them, he was like being, that psychophantic. So being like a white knight for all the other people, I guess. Basically interrupting people and I guess degrading himself, or I think the person meant like psychotic and just want to use a different word. So like talking over people, but like then that's when it's a problem.
Strange to me. I never expressed
But of course the misgendering people and then saying like basically calling somebody neurodivergent and stuff.
interest in hearing what he thought about the group or if he had any misgivings. We had literally finished speaking 20 minutes before this message, so I asked for some clarification on if he thought there would be any issues in the future. Yeah, I just want to be upfront. I don't foresee any issues with what I would do. I think in large that's sort of the strategy that everyone's already adopted, which is being patient with rambling. If male player feels othered by me talking over him, even though he talks over others, that's my only worry. But male player doesn't seem like someone with aggressive tendencies. It doesn't feel good to be condescended to or talked over by others. This made me pretty uncomfortable. It sounded like the campaign was starting off with intra-player issues, and we hadn't even had a session 0 yet. I was curious about how deep this psycho-analyzing went, so I asked if he had one about me, and he did. Here it is. You were and are lovely, brave, and confident. You seem to have experience with the table and all the social aspects that follow, and inspire confidence in me that you're capable of saying no. You like your friends, although sometimes it feels like you either can bite off more than you can chew, or your confidence varies. Yesterday's DM is not tomorrow's DM. You value a poker face, not revealing your cards. That's my cold call. After speaking with my friends about the messages, I ended up kicking Quill from the game. I sent him this final message. To be honest, I've spent the day thinking about your psychological profile on the party, and I have to say this message was extremely presumptuous and rude. Putting aside that they're some of my closest friends, even doing this in a group of complete strangers would be grounds enough to be immediately kicked. I'm not sure if you make this sort of thing a habit, but I would recommend thinking twice if you do. If you've been kicked without warning before in games where you've done this, that's probably why. Not only is it immediately stressful for the DM, but puts a lot of pall on the entire game going forward because they're always on the lookout for potential intra-party issues. Everyone has their quirks. That's something you need to understand when joining games with strangers. Some people talk a lot. Some people like to explain things. Some people are quiet. That's just how it is. People aren't always going to get along, and that's completely fine. Not everyone will like each other, but cataloging how well you get along with someone after a single interaction is setting your relationships up for failure. TLDR, don't join a TTRPG group, psychologically profile the players, and send that profile to the Dungeon Master. Edit. He did apologize, so silver linings to the whole situation. I always dread potentially hurting someone's feelings, but in this instance, I felt like I needed to say something regardless. Glad there was at least some good that came out of it. I've said in the past that I don't like instantly kicking people from game, but if this is your very first impression before the session 0 has even happened, holy shit, I'm gonna have a hard time feeling bad for you if you have a hard time finding games. This is not necessarily creepy, but it is weird. It is.
To be honest, I'm actually a fan of kicking people out. If obviously they're causing problems, if it's just online, if you're GM, like, hey, I'll message them like, hey, stop being, since you're being such a dick, I don't see this working out, so bye. Because we have limited time and stuff, and if this planned out, and if someone's gonna be toxic the whole time, I'm just kicking them out. That's how I do it as a GM. Like, if I don't like you, and if you're in here, like, if I don't like you and you're bothering other players, that's when you get kicked out. Okay? Like, I'm not gonna kill somebody if someone makes me upset. Like, unless they, like, really insult me to a point where I'm super angry. Because then I'll just leave. If I was a GM. Then they could find some another GM. But, like, it just, I don't know. And it's, I don't know. At least the person apologized, you know? Cause I can imagine that guy's kind of neurodivergent himself, because you gotta realize, even though you're a psych major, you don't have to psychoanalyze everything around you. Right? You just, if someone asks you to, then do it, you know? Not like forcing it on, not think about it all the time. But who knows? I think that's the end of the videos.
God damn, that's Snuffy? God damn, look at those abs. My god.
I mean, it's like an unfinished drawing, but it's kind of a very lewd thing.
Buff Up has such a cool art style, man. She's so talented. Look at those fucking abs.
Isn't that the person that I watched that? It probably is.
I want to be as respectful as possible here, but I only know these lines. These lines like near her abdomen. I only know one term for them, and I want to be as respectful as possible. I don't know. You guys know what I'm talking about? I mean, it's not weird. I mean, Snuffy's my homie. Like, I can say it, right? The cum gutters that you drew are so good. I feel like that is a very underrated
I'll say love handles, but okay.
part of, not just like, I mean, anybody's body, not just girls. The cum gutters, that V line.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about now, yeah.
I mean, you guys know me. For me, right here, I'm a clavicle guy. I don't know what it is, but like a nice like collarbone into clavicle into like neck drape. That's my thing. That's what does it for me. That's my thing. Second would be the cum gutter.
I mean, aren't you like a vamp? You look like you're a vampire type or a goth type person, so I guess it makes sense.
I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know. I feel like that's a weird thing to be into, but like the collarbone.
But you have that stream's like very good at controlling where shit goes. That's pretty awesome.
Into neck. Bellissimo. Bellissimo. I don't know. Do you guys have any weird shit like that? I mean, everybody says like armpit too, and you know, I get the armpit for sure. The belly button, I get it.
I know it's kind of weird for me to say I'm an ugly fat person, but to me, I'm more of an ass person, and I'm more of like the backside. You know, basically why I say love handles, that area too. It's probably my favorite place. And I say like upper thighs pretty good too. And depending on the woman, probably feet too. But it's most likely just the backside. I'm not really a breast type of person. Like, it can be any size, it doesn't matter. But I don't think I have a good, like, type. And also, I'm not weird. I'm kind of like an average person. Like, I have some weird stuff, but it's really not that weird. So, someone's drawing like that would be kind of cool.
I mean, I'm just doing this because, like, I mean, it's a nice piece of art. Guys, it's nothing.
And to be honest, I'm pretty sure, like, all these people that do VR chat are, like unattractive like me. Like, they're probably fat as well, or super skinny as well, because that's the dichotomy of a fucking Twitch streamer. You gain a lot of weight for eating all that food, or you just chug it down, you're still skinny, like Asmongold or XQC. You have all of that, and so it's just like, them having all this stuff, I'm like, yeah, I doubt you actually look like that. You actually look this hot in real life, because of course everyone draws or has an OC that makes them so more attractive than they actually are. You know, like a fat guy being like, their avatar being like super buff, and I don't know. It's like, I know this is a political point, but like for me, like the fat acceptance things, like I'm pretty sure even people that consider them fat don't actually like them being fat. Like I'm pretty sure if they have an OC, they will draw themselves as being a lot more fit and muscular, because I feel like that's they're attracted to. They're not really attracted to in their physical selves. So I feel like it's kind of hypocritical, but that's just my point of view. Of course, people are like, well, I actually like bigger people, which I'm like, okay, but I still feel like you like this better. So.
I'm just using this as reference. Oh my god, this is just reference. It doesn't matter who the guys. All right, I'm taking this off. I'm just appreciating Buff Pup's amazing art. Here, I'll do it with my body.
But to be more precise, the drawing looks unfinished, so I mean, it does not look good. Alright. There we go.
The Artificer, after unlocking Repeating Shot. I got 50 more rounds in this 4 rounds magazine. Hey, otherwise, Spider here to deliver some freshly defined meat.
True. You know, like the higher levels you get, you can do a lot more abilities all at once, like a lot of attacks all at once. It's kind of cool. I like that, but like that last guy that I mentioned, the old professor looking dude you saw in the thumbnail, like he's against like having so many attacks. He just like one action does a lot. All your one attacks going to one damage, one slice or whatever. Or there's a lot of, like, it's seen as one damage type, but I don't know. To me, I love the idea of going like beyond the level 20, the extra numbers, and that guy's against that. He's like, natural 20, you win, which it feels like not every situation not D20 should win. You know, it makes me feel uncomfortable. Like you just, no matter what you do, D20 makes it happen. Like it's not realistic. Like even you have the best results, 100% accurate, 100% practiced, 100% talented, you still could fuck up, even on you know everything about a situation, know everything about a person just by a look. You can still fuck up and not do well. So like natural 20, yeah, you get a lot of positive results, but there's still like depending what you're trying to get should not be 100% guaranteed. You know, to me, natural 20 should be like 85 to 95% guaranteed. You get something.
Memes directly to your screen. How are you guys doing? Welcome to another D&D memes video. Hope you're having a wonderful day today. Before jumping into the video, I just want to quickly kindly ask you if you're not subscribed to the channel. Consider doing so now. It only takes a moment. I appreciate it a lot. So thanks so much if you do that. Really close to 100k, and you know, hopefully we get there this year. I don't know. It's still possible that it happens, and I would really appreciate it if you help me out with that. So yeah, thanks so much for that, and especially if you're already subscribed, I really appreciate that. And yeah, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. It's almost like a character doesn't have to be weak for there to be struggle and good roleplay opportunities. No, you can just keep your roll of all 18s. How are you gonna have flaws? Get your DM to lower it. I have a crippling superiority complex. Both of them even get firearm proficiency. Corporate needs you to find the differences between this picture and this picture.
Okay, the last picture of the last meme, honestly, they're both sides are kind of wrong. Like telling somebody, "Oh, you shouldn't be that high stats," and the other one's like, "Well, I have to have everything perfect." They're both bad. They're just bad in different ways.
They're the same picture. Without
Yeah,
these
that's cute. I mean, those. I have no clue. I never seen that show before, like half a year ago, on YouTube. Like I have no clue that thing even existed until someone made like a whole documentary on it or something. Those hippo things.
rate or power word kill, you can't win against a zealot. Rage beyond death is overpowered. Nobody. Level 15 zealots after being at 10 health for half an hour, being digested by the Trask, taking their max hit points and damage 40 times over, not their max in a single turn though, and then eating a magic berry. I didn't hear no bell. Nah, zealot barbarians just don't know when to give up. Or I guess they don't know what giving up means. Dead names are
Yeah, true. True.
out. That was my other character is in. You can remember to call your D&D players by their character names, no matter how often that changes, but you can't use their real name if they change it? Interesting. Players, we've made a terrible
I don't know what to say to that. Like, if they change your name in real life, you should be able to call them that if it's not during the game, you know? Of course, if you're, like, offline, you could, like, hey, dude, your turn. Hey, buddy, your turn. What are you going to say? Or something like that, you know? Or, when I say buddy, I say their name. Like, hey, you should be able to say that. But on mine, probably just... Your Thordenak. Your turn, buddy.
mistake. Party successfully robs a local store completely by pretending to be in need of its charity. A couple of hours later, a commoner remarks upon the victim's collection of fabulous birds. Okay, I've seen this one before I know how this is gonna end. Someone around here told me that...
Yeah, it's just... Even though in every D&D campaign, you're basically like a low-key, like, criminal the whole time. Even though if you're the good people. I don't know. I never liked those scenarios. Even when, like, every time I was involved in something like that, I felt uncomfortable. Like, hey, I don't want to do this. But, of course, you go along with it because the party. But you're just like, I hate this. But, of course, most of my campaigns don't work out in the end anyway. So, they disbanded, like, probably a couple times after that. Oh, yeah. I have this sweat thing here because I like to shave my armpits. Because I really hate having armpit hair. It just makes it a lot more sweaty for me, and I feel a lot more gross. Say I don't take a shower once I get up or something because I go exercising. I do have like my groin area too, my asshole too. Cause I just don't like it, you know. And what if somehow I get lucky one day? I doubt the girl will go down on me with hair, you know. I don't want to go down a girl with hair down there either. Maybe like the porn thing when they have like where if they're fat they have a fupa there, but like if you don't, like that area, like below your stomach, below your belly button, in that area, they have hair up there. That's fine for me because it doesn't involve the sexual organ. But of course, everyone knows what I mean.
we need more barbarians. I agree. Get to work, everyone. When the gods need diplomats, they send clerics.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'll be right back. I need to go pee. you stayed. I thought he was gonna leave me. Oh yeah, I get this here too. Alright, I'm almost back. Sorry it took longer. I had to deal with the kitchen trash, and I got myself a drink, and I had to make tea and stuff that way. Alright, I'm back. Let me get situated.
Clerics. When a giant Jerry is needed, they send paladins. They only call upon us when they need an executioner. Half of the zealot. Deus Vault? Nobody. Me, making my every character a zealot because flavor is free. Amen. All about job creation. Pay may be optional.
Okay. Didn't quite understand that one, but I'm assuming you get to be chaotic wherever you want, and your god's gonna love you for it. I'm assuming that's what it meant.
When you decide to go lawful evil instead of chaotic evil this campaign, you may enslave the population. Women and children first. I'm an equal opportunity enslaver.
I love that. Just like, oh, you wanna be strong with me? You wanna compete with me? Oh, I'll let you fight with me. I'll beat your ass up, lady.
Help! My daughter is trapped in the speed. Does anyone have anything that could help get her out? Yeah, the 50 feet of hempen rope. We've all got it. Yeah, the basic starting item for every adventurer. 50 feet of hempen rope. I mean, everyone has that when they go somewhere, right? I just find this aspect far more engaging than racism, personally. Everyone angry and arguing over tiefling changes. Me and my zero racism, classism, and nationality focused campaign. Public service announcement for everyone who started playing in 5th edition. The new rule set sucks. I'm sticking with 5th edition. Okay then, that was always allowed. I'm not sure how accurate this is. I mean, I feel like most people that do this and would be in this scenario to say that they're sticking with 5th edition don't even follow the majority of 5th edition rules most of the time, if at all, if ever. Like, is there any difference between 5th edition and 1 DnD if you are either anyway going to just nitpick the rules that you like? And
I mean, there's a lot of fucking differences. Like, you can't crit on spells. You can't. Like, you get rid of the theoretically one of the best races, Mountain Dwarf, and make it weaker. You made, feats at level 1. Like, it's basically a 6th edition. You know, said, oh, we could use the 5th book. Like once you change the fundamentals of something, then it's not the same thing,
ignore the bad ones or the ones you dislike. We mostly talk over Discord, so there are people whose real names I just straight up forgot. You call your players by their characters' names for immersion. I do it because I don't remember their real names. We are not the same. In what kind of context? Like, if you're only with that group to play D&D, I guess. But like at some point you would also be kind of friends, I would assume, right? I don't know. It seems really weird.
I mean, that's what I agree. If I was in the community, that's what I would do. I'm not. Literally in my post, I said one of my cons of getting me a player is like I'm not here to make friends, but I'm not against it,
If you play an entire D&D campaign with someone and you don't know their names by the end. I mean, it worked. BM to the party. Why can't you just be normal? The all level 20 GIF wizard party casting time stop and casting hundreds of cone of holes, lightning bolts, and meteor swarms on the sun to kill the solar dragon big bad evil guy inside without entering. Screams. Zoinks. Where's a wood chipper when you need one? Paladin. This building.
I mean, if you allowed them to play all wizards, like all one class one campaign, that's really on the DM's fault for not saying like, hey, you should do something else, or like, hey, let's make another campaign,
Needs to be purged of evil spirits. Rogue. I like your initiative, but perhaps we come back in a few more levels if these guys couldn't handle it. Yeah, no, if these guys can't handle it, then no way that you'll be able to. So yeah, good luck. I have an Artificer coming into an upcoming campaign, and dear lord do I hope this happens. The Artificer, after unlocking Repeating Shot. I got 50 more rounds in this 4 rounds magazine. Glad I have the physical books, but a bit sad because those books were some of my absolute favorites, and the new one seems to have ditched most of the lore. Wizards of the Coast stealthily removing Vola's Guide to Monsters and Mordecai and Storm of Foes from D&D Beyond store after releasing Mordecai Presents Monsters of the Multiverse. There is no lore in Bazingzi. I can't believe they do this. 5th edition.
Hold on. Okay, you good enough. Hold on. I'll get to my point in a second. Well, it sort of works. I mean, my point is, that's why I hate bot having. There's so many different books. Like each book basically almost changes how D&D works. Like get more classes, get more detail, take away detail, change up the whole lore, retcon things. That's why it's just like, I hate that they're saying one D&D is literally this 5e plus, but like, hopefully they don't make any other additions. But I'm pretty sure they're just gonna make new additions after a while. It's gonna be like some other YouTuber I watch says, like there's gonna be new people in charge. They're gonna have some changes and just like, yeah.
Players. I hate how toxic the community is with the new playtest. Original D&D, Advanced D&D, 3rd edition, 3.5, and 4th edition players. First time? Yeah, well, you know how they say there's a first time for everything, so it's kinda sad in this case, but yeah. My DMing mentality. Tom. Seth, how many voices and characters can you do? Oh, just enough to avoid being myself. Oh my god. Seducing Dragon returns.
I'm bored. Let's do something exciting.
Like what?
Oh, you know.
Got it. I'll get the whipped cream.
Ooh, how daring.
Give me another bottle.
Okay, well, I'm glad this is how it turned out because I really didn't want to see the other scenario that you all have in mind. What can I say? I'm poly damn nervous. I sold my soul to 7 different fiends. They've been arguing over who gets to collect it ever since they found out. This has been going on for 400 years. It's nice to be wanted and spitefully immortal. Nice. This
True. That's 4D chess playing there.
post was made by the utility mage. Marshals when casters outperform them. The world is a cruel and unjust place. There is no harmony in the universe, and the only constant is suffering. Minutes later. Oh my god, haste. Why is he blushing though? Like, I imagine.
True. But that's more like inside, in the game. Type logic is the first one. Second one's outside logic. Hey, yeah, I get to run really quick and do like basically 2 extra actions.
Imagining him looking at the haste like at an entity and just being like, seeing that and being like, smash. Yeah, I'd smash that. Wizard dropping. Hey, this kind of smells like fireball. Becky, us non-casters like to call that scent cinnamon. Player, I wish to use my turn to turn around and scream, banish it, banish
Yeah.
it, banish it at our cleric. Dia, you have failed to kill the mages in time. They all stab themselves and the blood pools into an arcane circle. From the middle of it rises a red portal with black lightning and the figure in the shape of a knight that thwarts death walks through. New player, oh, that can't be good. Experienced players, we're all gonna die. Simple motivation is simple. The fathomless. In exchange for the powers you'll be granted, you shall be my messenger, my emissary, my harbinger, Warlock. So shall it be. What message would you have me deliver to the ignorant masses?
Stop going pee-pee in the ocean.
That is...
Oh, you didn't hear that? Jesus. But oh, but how would you do that though? I mean, does that mean just humanoids that don't live in the ocean? You mean ocean like fish like live and do everything in the ocean? They just let it out, you know? You mean for them too?
There's no way that's something that bothers him so much. Please, Wizards of the Coast, come closer. I need an official Ranger class rewrite. I mean, yeah, I know, a lot of people are complaining about it a lot, but there's also homebrew options, right? Standing here. Disarmed wizard with an 8 strength in an anti-magic field versus the big bad evil guy. Clerics are kinda broken in 5th edition. Me, the DM, running Rime of the Frost Maiden with a few friends, full cleric party, because we thought why not? Inflict wounds, guiding bolt, spiritual weapon. So you're only using gold. Me too. DM
That's what I'm saying. Like the most powerful group you can get is like a multi-classer. Like it's like 5 barbarians. Like I guess there are type of healing barbarians that can do stuff. Like literally, if you have a whole group with just one class, then it's gonna be the strongest group no matter what. Like they're gonna blast through everything, because either blast through magic, blast through like being sneaky, blast through destroying everything, and whatever, blast through being holy, or being good at talking to people, entertaining people. Like it's unstoppable.
community with the gold pieces, and then copper and silver in the background. Oh, and also electrum and platinum in the underwater. Nobody.
Yeah, no one really touched them. I mean, that's all true. I think platinum's pretty good because it's one platinum is like 10 gold pieces, which I thought platinum was 100 gold pieces, but whatever.
Really cares about those, right? Mimic goes nom. Players, learning that corpses are considered objects the hard way. Draco, you madman. PCs, please don't do this. So, with the new background rules for 1D&D, you could start the game with no weapons, no armor, no tools, but 50 goats. Goats lol. But then you realize that 50 times 1d8 health, 1d4 plus 1 damage, 10 AC, and plus 3 hits to knock enemies prone. I mean, I guess, but you also would need to be, I don't know, like a druid maybe, and to have them actually want to cooperate with you. What do you mean it takes no damage?
I mean, you could do that any other edition. Either just have like 50 creatures, could just overwhelm the DM or overwhelm every creature, unless they have a very good it's going on me. The cam's going on me for a bit until he moves or I get Samsung around me. But hold on. There you go. So no one's like, why are you showing yourself as a pet? Are you a furry? I don't want that bullshit.
New players, the first time that they cast a spell and learn that the monster has immunity to the damage type. This is really funny. If you know One Piece, this is even funnier actually. I thought I would add this. If you don't know why I said that and you're curious, this is basically this guy's reaction to exactly the thing that describes to realizing that someone was immune to his damage type.
Yep. Like even though they kind of retconned it, it's kind of One Piece spoiler here, but like they kind of low key retconned it, so he's not exactly rubber, but it's kind of like whatever he wants to be. So he thought it was a rubber fruit, so it just became the properties of rubber. So like yeah, rubber and electricity, like rubber cancels out electricity or however that actually works. So he's like, what? I can't just curb stomp anybody. Of course, if he had Conqueror's Hockey, he probably could just force it on Luffy, but that's the modern One Piece instead of the beginning one.
Features that I need in my life. I need a dungeon master for my real life, just to have someone who asks, are you sure? When I'm about to do something stupid. If you want to surprise your PCs, surprise your players. The truth about metagaming. Trolls, aren't you?
Okay. The last person, like almost every single person you give advice to, is going to be like, thanks for the advice, you're probably right, but I'm not going to follow it just because someone else said it besides me. Like I want someone to confirm me, let me do stupid decisions, and you're just not gonna win. Like I like when people tell me what to do or what advice. Like I don't care. Like so. It is what it is.
Even real, and your players know a lot about how to kill them. They won't know less if trolls eating them was a real way that they could die. Either I suck at this, or she's more creative than me. My friend making campaigns. My campaign starts with you guys being someone else's nightmare. Me making campaigns. My campaign starts in a tavern. I mean, the intention counts, okay? I mean, also if you're DMing, that's already a huge step, so no one should really complain about that. It got a little awkward after that. The party celebrating their victory fighting a drug dealer, and the rogue finding insulin in the NPC's bag. It's not being lazy. It's called supervising. The warlock and shadow monk short resting while watching the wizard and paladin turn another 4 hobgoblins into goo. Nice.
I'm assuming that's from like a movie set, because they look like actors to me. I've seen, but if they're not, there's go for it. Hell yeah. All right, it's back. Pet Ken's back. There you go.
Moved beyond editions. 6th edition, 5.5th edition. And then there's 5th edition 2, 2.5, 2 Furious. Can't what? I told the rogue that if he was honest, he could avoid prison time. But we all know thieves can't. Like, I can't believe that the last 20 minutes episode is a really bad pun. Jesus Christ. Well, alright, on that note, that's it for today's video. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget.
So we all know that 1D&D is coming and it's bringing changes, but in terms of the class that you play, what does that actually mean? Who are the winners and losers here? Because there are some incredible buffs and devastating nerfs to classes that are hidden away until you dig deep into these rules. Here are the 5 biggest buffs and nerfs from 1D&D. Nerf build, crit fishes. So this is the most obvious nerf in these new rules. Assassin rogues, total garbage now. You see, under the new critical hit suggested rules, only your weapons damage die is doubled. In the old rules, everything was doubled. For rogues, that meant double sneak attack. Assassin rogues were all about this. They have a feature where if you hit a surprised enemy, that hit is treated as an auto crit. So at level 20, you'd be dealing 2d8 plus 20d6. And then if you built around this, if you worked with your friends to create a high synergy party, then you get your order cleric or battle master fighter to use their class feature and let you attack again as your reaction for another 2d8 plus 20d6. This was not at all uncommon. If you can get the drop on an enemy, an assassin rogue can pump out 40d6 in the first couple of seconds. But now, sneak attack damage isn't doubled. In fact, any build that counted on massive spikes of critical damage is kind of worthless. A paladin could take 2 levels in barbarian and 1 level in hexblade to crit on a 19 or a 20. The idea was to make 3 attacks per turn at advantage, and whenever you hit, you pour in your divine smites. A 5th level smite could net you 16d8 plus your weapon damage. It felt amazing when you got this off. But now, a crit will only ever get you, at the very best, an additional 1d12 damage. So building around getting crits just isn't worth it. Also, this subtly powers down any ability or class that gives you advantage, like barbarians or the elven accuracy feat abusers, because the crits that you'll be getting more often aren't as good. But it's not all bad news, because here's a huge buff. Unarmed fighters. So unarmed strikes are
Hate that, man. They're just trying to make it so that I feel like they're just giving DMs, besides the DM monsters can't crit, like they're just giving DMs make it a lot easier, and I hate it, man. I don't like this. I don't like 1D&D at all right now.
Are better now. When you hit a creature with an unarmed strike, you get 3 choices. 1. Deal damage. Flat rate, that's 1 plus your strength modifier. 2. Grapple that enemy. Or 3. Push them 5 feet away or push them prone. So the big change here is that before, you had to initiate a skill contest if you wanted to grapple or shove someone. You roll athletics, they roll athletics or acrobatics, and if you win, they are grappled or shoved. Now, you just have to beat their AC, and boop, they are grappled or prone. It's that easy. Firstly, this means you know
Yeah, that's a lot easier. That is a lot easier.
no longer need amazing athletics to shove or grapple. Monks attack with their dexterity and usually have bad strength, so they were terrible grapplers before, but now they're pretty good. But the best part is that this all comes off an unarmed strike, which means you can grapple as an opportunity attack when someone attempts to leave your range. That's right, every character who has at least one hand free has the Sentinel feat now. If someone tries to run away, you punch them in the back of the head, and they are grappled now until the end of their next turn. That's another new thing about grappling. You do get a chance to escape, but only at the end of your turn, so pretty much they're locked in there with you. The power build here is taking tough as your background feat, being a dwarf for the extra hit points, being a barbarian, and taking 2 levels in fighter for action surge and the unarmed fighting style. Now your unarmed strikes are dealing 1d8, you're attacking at advantage thanks to reckless attack, you can knock enemies prone, you can grapple them, you can half all incoming damage with the bear totem subclass, and if anyone tries to run away, you can halt them by grappling them as a reaction. You can even pick up a 3rd level in Rune Knight Fighter to enlarge yourself for even more damage, greater reach, and to let you grapple huge enemies. Remember, if you grapple someone and push them prone, they cannot stand up, because you can't stand up for being prone if your movement speed is 0. Because they can...
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds like that's gonna be easy. It's better for the players than the DM, but like it's a lot more simple. Again, it's not nothing more, nothing less.
Only attempts to break the grapple at the end of their turn. If you get this combo off, no matter what the enemy does, unless they can teleport, they're guaranteed to be prone until at least the turn after next. Grappling has always kind of sucked, and we've had to mess around and find weird combos to make it usable. But now it's genuinely good. Massive upgrade here.
Welcome to heaven. You want an apple that tastes like a giant M&M? No, thanks. How did I die? Looks like you suffered a stress-induced aneurysm from trying to plan and run a game of Dungeons and Dragons. Happens all the time. I tell you, you're lucky you died now and not in the 80s, so you'd be going straight to hell for playing that game. Yeah, it was pretty stressful trying to keep track of that campaign. You know what? I'll put you back down. Give you another go around. Just this time, when you're building a fantasy world, use World Anvil. Wait, what the hell is World Anvil?
World Anvil is the ultimate world-building platform.
I hate that. I should have skipped through that. Because D and Critical Role had like the best ad read sections. Non-D&D, I think Philion does it the best.
Background at level 1. The crafter feat nets you 3 artisan's tools proficiencies, and both the time it takes and the gold required to craft something are reduced by 20%. Here's the list of how much time it takes and how much gold it costs to craft something from Xanathar's guide. So crafting a rare magic item with the crafter's feat would only take 8 weeks, cost 1600 gold, and require ingredients from a CR 9 to 12 creature. But here's what I love about this. You can work together to craft stuff. Teamwork reduces the amount of time required to craft something, as per the rules in the player's handbook. They use a stupid formula, but basically if you have 4 people working on building something, it can be done in 1/4 of the time. So the party can whip up some amazing items like a cloak of displacement in just a couple of weeks. Cobbler's tools, leatherworker's tools, and smith's tools are the big 3 you want to get. That gives you the ability to craft boots, cloaks, and armor. Some amazing options to craft even in the early game include the cloak of protection, the winged boots, a weapon of warning, or an immovable rod. These are all
Yeah, that's pretty good, especially if you're like stealthing or something, or this type of campaign here, the pseudo-gothic type style.
common items. Easy enough to get the materials for by level 5. But the best thing is, this is so beautiful for DMs. The game writes itself. Your party wants to build some magic items? Boom. Go fight some displacer beasts, or an aboleth, or even a beholder. It gives you an endless addictive cycle.
So this is 1D&D. I thought he was talking about comparing 5e to 1D&D. Yeah, that makes sense. Easier. Because if you craft that item, I'm pretty sure most people don't mean craft anyway, so it takes forever. Like, it's really like, oh, it takes like a half a year to get this thing made. You're never gonna get back to it. You're gonna commission it, waste your money, and then the campaign's gonna end before you get back to it, you know?
Of side quests. Craft better gear, level up, go out and craft better gear again. Before, crafting was this weird thing that most players and DMs pretty much ignored. But with this new feat in the player's handbook at level 1, it's basically the designer saying, look, you should be crafting. Here's all the tools and motivation you need. Go have fun. This is more than just a buff. It's basically an entirely new playstyle and approach to tackling the game of D&D. It's easy to implement, it makes DMing a total breeze, and it gives players more control over the loot they get, because they're the ones going out there and making it. Huge buff all round. So here's another nerf build, the Dump Dex Caster. So a Dump Dex Caster is basically any spellcaster that doesn't boost their dexterity and instead relies on armor for their AC. This was possible thanks to 2 races, Githyanki and Mountain Dwarf, because they both gave you medium armor proficiency. So even though wizards can't normally wear half plates unless they multiclass, a dwarf wizard totally could. So with only 12 dexterity, you're rocking a 16 AC from level 1. Fantastic for a spellcaster, and that would cost a normal wizard a spell slot for mage armor and a 16 in dex to achieve. Then you can invest those ability score increases into constitution, so you can tank more hits and succeed on more concentration checks. This is actually a Matt Mercer build. His character Dariax, a divine soul sorcerer, did this in Exandria Unlimited. However, with the new Mordenkainen's
Nice.
Monsters of the Multiverse book, Githyanki lost the ability to give medium armor proficiency, and now dwarves don't get it either. With this update, there is no way for a class to get armor proficiency they shouldn't have without multiclassing. Also, spellcasters get a bonus nerf with the new critical hit rules, because now spells can't crit. This makes spells like Firebolt, Eldritch Blast, and Scorching Ray worse, and by proxy, makes spells like Magic Missile, Firebolt, and Shatter better, because they couldn't crit anyway. Okay, final buff, the Skill Monkey. So yes,
I hate that, man. Like I don't understand why, like, weapons can crit, but like spells can't. Spells are a lot more damaging than like any strike could be. Like, you have to add spells on top of your weapon, your super strength, or you have to get lucky for that. Like, I don't understand. Like, it makes more logical sense to me to have spells more powerful than weapons. Because if we had magical spells, like bruh, who would be using guns when you have magic? Literally, you could just destroy any type of gun around. I don't know.
The fact that you can pick up the skill feat at level 1 is very good for anyone who wants to have a lot of skills. In fact, a level 4 human rogue can get proficiency in every skill. That's every skill at level 4. And then, of course, at level 11, the rogue's reliable talent kicks in. And assuming you have at least a 10 in every stat, you can never roll lower than a 14. But this goes deeper than that, because there are new rules here all about tool proficiencies. Now, if you make a check with a skill that you are proficient in, and you use a tool with which you are also proficient, you get to make that roll at advantage. Example, you're a rogue, you make a sleight of hand check to pick a lock using thieves tools. If you have proficiency in both the sleight of hand and the thieves tools, you don't only get a bonus to the check, you roll it at advantage. Basically, you want to be using your tools anytime you can. If you can bring your disguise kit in on a deception check, you're going to be rolling with advantage. This makes the social roleplay focus builds even better, because advantage is a big mathematical boost, even at low levels. This was a problem skill monkeys had. Sure, you can get proficiency in every skill at level 4, but it still only works out at a +2. But if you can stack advantage on that as well, it becomes significant, even in the early game. And of course, by the late game, it's just ridiculous. This also improves something else, and it sounds really weird, but musical instruments just got a buff. That's because you want to bring in a tool you're proficient with as often as you possibly can on skill checks to get that advantage. I don't know, maybe your DM will let you wave around your smith's tools as part of an intimidation check, but it seems unlikely. What you can bring to most situations, though, especially in a medieval fantasy setting, is music. Bards should always be playing music. Most persuasion checks and every performance check can be improved with a drum solo. Seducing a barmaid, pull out the bagpipes. Works every time. Because instruments are super easy to incorporate in lots of different types of checks, they'll be giving you advantage more often. I love this. It makes your skill and tool proficiencies matter right from level 1, and it encourages players to think about what their character is good at and get creative. But if you want more ways to play D&D and an excuse to playtest these rules at higher levels, why not dive into the new adventure Demon Chase, where you hunt down the demon lord Exegol and the legendary sword of Agatha. You can get that one-shot.
I mean, I feel that makes it annoying. Because realistically, if you're like a music player or any trade stuff, you would break stuff along, but you wouldn't do it all the time. Like, maybe as a character quirk, but like realistically, you would never like craft something all the time, you know, unless you need it, you know. Which I guess you could, but like that's what I realized in D&D. Like, I have never crafted anything in my life. I have never, or I'm pretty sure most players do not craft anything. Most people don't repair things. It just seemed like it would get in the way, you know. If you use it as a character flair, then sure, that's good. But like, besides that, it just legit get annoying. Like, oh, I'm gonna bang my crafting stuff so I get advantage for every small interaction. I feel like that's stupid. Like, it's just gonna get annoying and tedious very quickly.
Adventure, as well as 5 others, 2 of which are completely for free, complete with maps and stat blocks so you can play right away just by clicking on the Patreon up here or down there. Also, remember to like and subscribe, check out other videos on the channel, and I'll see you next time.
I don't know, so I kind of disagree with this take. Okay. I don't know if I want to play games now, or maybe like go on VR chat or something, but I just hate talking to people because VR chat is just toxic as hell. Alright, we'll check this out.
Lysergic acid dithalidomide, also known as acid, is a potent psychedelic that, if taken in high doses, a person will strongly manifest visual and auditory hallucinations. This is coupled with dilated pupils, elevated heart rate, and a strange phenomenon called ego dissolution. This is when your own person, your sense of self, turns into nothing, disintegrates. You are no longer a human, you're no longer yourself, and what's left is the LSD experience. What's left is the trip. This video will cover one story in particular, a haunting experience about a man whose perception was radically altered by this substance. The story that I'm about to tell you, and one similar like it, can all be found on one website, erowid.org, a place where trip reports are shared, both good and bad. And if after this...
I don't know. I just like my twin brother said about doing drugs. Like, it's only like you keep doing it because the first time it's really good, but after that it's not as good. It's just getting more and more and more. That's why I never do any of these drugs, even if they became legal. Because I'm fine with having drugs legal. You just should have places where you get clean at, you know, so it doesn't ruin your life and your family. God damn, sorry, my tongue's cold because I keep chewing ice. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
This video, you're interested in reading more stories like this. The link
Plus, every time everyone takes the drugs, they're like, "Wait, God's real. I talked to God. He's pretty rad, bro." Or like become psychotic, like, "Oh, the government's after me. Government's after me. Government's after me." Which, I mean, sometimes can be true depending on what you did, but most people are not. Government doesn't want random fucking citizen at all. Sorry, I'm just trying to clean up the dust a little bit.
to arrowwood.org can be found in the description box down below. Our first story is from Hiyab X. About 10 years ago, I bought my third tab from a guy in my hometown in Norwich, UK. It was a strawberry tab, and I was told it had been double dipped. The guy had a reputation of selling good acid, so I happily gave him my cash. My being in Norwich was just a social visit over a couple of days and catching up with friends. On the last day there, I decided to drop a tab and use my friend's home as a trip HQ. He knew what I was up to. He had gone to work and left me his keys to make myself comfortable. I took the single LSD tab in the late morning in a positive state of mind with no worries or anxieties. I began to come up on the acid towards lunchtime. It was the first time and the last time I'd ever tripped alone. Outside, it was a glorious sunny day, but I was happy enough in my temporary sanctuary to not really think about going outside. After a while, the LSD rush started blazing up my spine and racing through my guts. I felt a little uneasy, but I had enough in mind to allow myself to just go with it and just wait until the rush plateaued. After a while, it calmed down. I decided to sit upstairs in the house and listen to some music on the radio in the sunlit bedroom. I was having a wonderful time watching floral Escher type patterns breaking over my skin. I enjoyed looking in the mirror, looking at my grinning face, and this distinct map contour patterns gently washing over my flesh. It really seemed like a great start. Well, I vaguely recalled deciding to go downstairs again for some reason, and the next thing I recalled was awakening on the floor of the dining room alone. The first thing I noticed was that there were blowflies buzzing around a bowl of cat food on the kitchen floor, which was in view. I remember feeling perplexed as to why both flies had two bright neon after images in red and blue. I sat up and tried to figure out why I was on the floor in the first place. Now, it's worth pointing out before I take you down this helter-skelter that somehow, because of my blackout, I had completely forgotten that I'd taken anything at all. Prior to tripping, though, I wrote myself a note of reassurance in case things got too weird. So sitting up on the floor still, I found my note and tried to read it. Alas, because I was on acid, the words made no sense to me. Instead, they morphed like alien glyphs and danced around the
I hate this shit, man. I hate the idea that dissociating myself because I'm afraid that it'll make me develop like DID and alters. Because to me, having DID is probably one of the worst things can happen to somebody. Which I kind of am skeptical on DID in the first place. But like, I assume that it's real, but it's just like it's not as prevalent as online claims it to be. But I don't want to have that because sometimes I talk to myself and it feels like I'm talking as a different person to myself. You know, like saying like when I stub my toe, like why the hell did I do that? Or why did you do that, Luke? Like it makes me like think differently. And I'm pretty sure like on drugs, like that would just it legit would ruin my world too. Like I would be scared of everything, probably paranoid, because I get anxious easily. And as I said so many times before, I am very sensitive to a lot of annoying shit that most people are not. So, scary.
piece of paper. It was then my last little link of sanity crumbled, and I heard my voice utter the terrifying words, "I've gone mad." I had a feeling that I had to be somewhere else, which then got heightened by the digital watch I was wearing suddenly beeping a time alarm at me, but I had no idea why or what it meant, so I left my sanctuary, and I later found out that I left the back door wide open, thus making the house entirely a burglar's free-for-all. I remember waking up almost on autopilot on a busy street heading towards town. I saw one of my old teachers who saw me, but the only thing I did was force a grin and keep on walking. And I did indeed walk. Not so much as a conscious effort or with any sense of intent. I felt utterly out of control. I collided with someone carrying their shopping, vaguely heard them cuss at me as I continued my stride. I turned down a passageway between two houses and strolled through the back door of a house I'd once lived in, then past the new inhabitant and out the front door. I walked into the city center from there. I still don't know how I survived crossing roads, but I did. From there, I strolled into a city cafe where my friend's son was working. He saw me and said hello, but in my acid-addled state of autopilot, I just walked past him into the main cafe and sat down. Then I stood up and walked out of the cafe without uttering a word. Other than being completely out of lunch on LSD, at that time on the trip, I don't recall hallucinating. Instead, I felt like a puppet on a string guided by some subconscious walking mechanism, which had its own design.
Yeah, when I was really drunk at my brother's bachelor party, like, of course, for me, my vision was so blurry, I couldn't even see anything. But, like sometimes, like, I felt like my subconscious controlled everything to me, and I had that similar feeling to that, because I was super out of it. But I was kind of just, like, I kept walking around and stuff. Surprisingly, I didn't fall over a lot. I fell, like, 3 times, but, like, it's not, like, a lot more than I should have.
on where I should be, and there certainly wasn't any cognitive thinking that guided my actions. After the brief cafe episode of Trip, the situation just went from bad to worse. Somehow I navigated myself through Norwich and then began to head in the direction of the city's Central Park. As a child, I always felt a sense of friendliness and comfort there, but now in my fried state of mind, the familiar comfort of this park had shifted to its polar opposite. I was now hallucinating on top of everything else. The people in the park were walking around, but my perception had begun to distort, their heads and faces beyond any form of human recognition. If you could imagine for a moment being surrounded by people in a busy place where their heads had been removed and replaced by squids and octopus, you might begin to accurately picture the scene confronting me in this park. Everyone had tentacles smothering their faces and dangling down their necks like fleshy snake beards. Even the
He's narrating this really well, though. I really like it. Most people will just be generic like me, but like, he's actually doing pretty good.
Women and children were not exempt from this disfiguration. The octopoid heads were white in appearance, and each person seemed to have baleful, staring eyes where their ears should have been. Even in my state of autopilot, I felt nothing but sheer terror at this alien swarm of people walking around me. My feet obviously decided to take evasive maneuvers because I then found myself out of the park, having crossed yet another treacherous main road, and was now heading towards a multi-story apartment block.
That's why you see a lot of homeless people being like look like they're crazy. It's because they're doing all this shit, and this is what they see. You know, it's not. They know it's not real, but it's kind of like, whoa.
I recall that I got inside the building somehow and wandered in circles on one of the floors of the apartment block. I seemed stuck in a loop of wanting to get out, walking around a circle of short corridors and arriving at a janitor's cupboard. I would open the door expecting to find an exit and be confronted by the dead end of cleaning products and brooms. I would repeat this several times like a fly that desperately flies around in circles around the kitchen only to collide with the same window, again and again and again. I don't remember how I finally broke the loop, but I did. The next thing that happened was the memory of walking around some side streets, into someone's back garden via an alleyway, and I recall a middle-aged woman looking a little afraid of me because I was in her yard and seeing her rush into the house, closing the door behind her. I left the yard, and I think I walked between two garages. The gap between them was tight. Perhaps I tried to go through it anyway. In my mind, I was being trapped inside an ever-tightening spiral that I relentlessly marched along. As the spiral tightened, my body would begin to crush. If it were to continue down the spiral, I would surely be crushed to my final atom. This realization broke me out of my loop, and then I quickly realized I was next to another main road in Norwich, in front of someone's garden. While looking at the garden in front of this house, the inside of my mouth felt like plant matter, and when I tried to scream, my tongue shot out a mix of flesh and thorny rose stem. The situation was utterly hopeless, and it's getting worse and worse with each lysergic internal minute. Over the other side of the main road was a dental repair workshop. It was a discreet-looking place, and it looked just as much as part of the houses that were above it. I recall that I walked into this workshop to the surprise of the men who were working there. I think they said, "Hey, where do you think you're going?" etc. But I was too far gone, and on my way out again, still under the guidance of the momentum and hidden agenda of this autopilot within me. The adjacent street began the final demise of my terrifying trip, and you'll have to indulge me in this part and go with the flow of reality and abstract woven together. First off, like a lemon, I walked across this side road onto the pavement and then promptly plummeted a good 7 feet into someone's basement flat. There had probably been a flight of steps leading down to this concrete pit, but I didn't see them, and I wouldn't have known what to do with them if I had. I guess I clambered up the street level again and lit my way up to the street, which was a bit of a cul-de-sac. Part of my subconscious memory must have recalled that an ex-girlfriend had lived there, and I found myself walking up to her old front door, which was one of those aluminum-framed double-glazed types. I recall my reflection in the door looking somewhat like a Francis Bacon painting, a mixture of anguished flesh and black oils dripping like.
God, man, I would hate this so much. Like, I hate being outside of my head. Just like Moodhar says, he likes having a manual car to drive so he can control it because he doesn't trust technology. And he has, he uses Linux and 5 different, VPNs, or not really VPNs, just kind of like make sure no one tracks his IP or whatever. Like, I have that same mentality, but like getting high or something. You know, he does it for like porn too. Like, he doesn't watch a lot of porn because he's being addicted to things. And mine's like, yeah, I get addicted to type of stuff. Like, maybe when I drink for the first time, I like drinking more and more just for that one day, but don't drink after that. But like, yeah, I just don't want to be out of my mind.
Like blood down my body. I was falling in internal darkness like a fleshy sack of bricks. As I fell forever, I would crash through the intermittent panes of glass that would shatter and tear me in never-ending descent. With the sound of breaking glass was the wavering crescendo of the word mad, repeating in waves. Mad, 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 mad. Over and over and over as I plummeted, I ripped and torn into darkness with splinters of glass.
Imagine if you're schizophrenic and this is how bad your trips are all the time. Like, I'm not surprised schizophrenic kill themselves, because like I would not want to do this every single day, you know?
Falling beside me. These visuals and auditory hallucinations brought me down to my knees. I was now a 7-year-old child laying on the pavement. My best friend's parents stood over me, feeling concerned, asking what happened. He hit his head, someone says. Call an ambulance, someone says. And during all of this, a disc-shaped hole appeared above me with someone's arm reaching down to try and pull me up into safety. I tried to reach up to the grasping hand, but I couldn't. Then the hole disappeared. After that moment, I was staggering along the street again, at the bottom of the cul-de-sac. My gaze lifted into the sky, and the sky's gaze fell upon me. Each cloud was now a giant type of amoeba-type organism, covered in dots which pulsated in color like the skin of a cuttlefish. Each giant amoeba had a giant blue human-looking eye observing me. I could hear voices taunting me, telling me I was stupid, telling me how thick I was for looking for the answers, telling me I had spastic consciousness. The amoebas seemed to be singing a never-ending song, which was something like this. I am an unschematic peel, and if you ever know what I feel, then I know that I felt like this before, and I always knew what I was timely for. And this was repeated 1,000 times. I briefly saw existence as a giant clock face of a billion dots between each second. The dots were clicking forward in a relentless advance like the movement of the second hand, and I realized in that moment, each dot was the equivalent of someone's lifetime. My internal monologue was running this entire time. It described that living and dying was part of this internal chain, and that the clock was measuring it all. Then the monologue started laughing at my dismay. In reality, I became conscious enough to recognize that I'd been stumbling through a children's play area at the base of the cul-de-sac. It's worth describing to you a little bit about the geography of the area.
It feels like you're dreaming, you know? Like, you're just making your subconscious dreams happen in real life.
Adjacent to the cul-de-sac was a small path that leads up 4 flights of stone steps leading down to the street below. This street is called Park Lane, and if you go through the gap in the fence at the back of the children's play area, there's a steep, overgrown embankment that leads down to
Oh shit, I should put a flash warning. This is very flashy, especially I'm watching it 2 times fast. Well shit. I'll just put what's that other one? Sorry. Guys, so much shit in my screen.
Flint gravel parking area at the rear of the Park Lane Hotel. Guess which route I took? In reality, I passed through the gap of the fence, failed to notice the dangerous drop below, and then tumbled down the embankment into the Flint parking area. I was crawling on my hands and knees by this point. A piece of flint had torn the palm of my hand, making it look like a stigmata wound, which was pretty appropriate to the following delusion. Once I looked up from my palm, the entire parking lot looked like a sea of holes. After looking up from the ground, I noticed that I'm in a white void with an infinity of swirling black dots. I could hear air raid sirens and the sounds of buzzing. I looked down again at the sea of dots, and I noticed a cross, which had a festering pile of bloody guts and organs spread across it, staining the wood in crimson. The guts were smothered in wasps, stinging the ruined flesh, causing venomous pustules. It was an image of impossible pain, and then the monologue returned, booming over the sirens and droning over the wasps. This is Christ. He is still suffering for your sins, still paying the price. More laughter than a fleeting moment of reality. I just chose to cross the park lane. I wanted to leave. I collapsed in the gutter on the other side of the road. My jacket was gone, and I noticed I was covered in cuts and grazes. At that very moment, a wasp had landed on my elbow and was making a snack for itself with my cuts. I remember trying to brush it away, and it stung me as I did. I managed to get this wasp off of me, and I noticed there was a woman pushing a pram and looking at me with concern. And for a moment, looking at her granted me a second of sanity. But the moment she was outside of my sight, I was thrown right back into LSD hell. My body was a giant green mass of flesh, punctured all over by cactus-like thorns that had grown from within and broken my skin on the way out. I had no arms and legs. I was more like a mass of tendrils. My form was that of pain, and nothing more and nothing less. A brief flash of a police car pulling up beside me and someone getting out. I was in pain, floating in a sea of holes. There were billions of holes, each one a passage leading into an identical ocean of swirling black dots. The monologue told me there was only one hole which led me away from here, and in one blink, I was in a hospital, lying on a padded vinyl mattress with medics standing around me. I noticed I was human-shaped again, and at that very moment, the door swung open to reveal an idyllic countryside scene of green hilly pastures, bathed in glorious sunlight, and a friendly-looking oak tree in the foreground view. If only I could crawl through those doors, I would be safe, my soul saved, but I couldn't move. The door swung shut and opened again, and now I could see a hospital corridor instead of fields. Someone was being pushed past on a stretcher, and in that moment I knew that my salvation was lost. I was thrust back into the sea of holes. It seems that my gaze in any direction would erase the black dots in their masses. For the first time in this nightmare, I felt a sense of conscious hope. I began to wipe swaths of dots by sweeping glances in the void around me. What have you taken? I was gaining hope by the minute, stripping black dots away, removing these taunting false exits. What have you taken? Was it acid? Surrounded by self-created white void of comfort, I gazed at the final bunch of black dots, and I knew my release from hell was merely held by these remaining few. He's out of it still. I gazed at all but 2 black dots away. These 2 now had a bridge, akin to a line seen in a dot-to-dot puzzle. In my mind, my voice returned as I stared at each dot. I heard my internal voice yelling, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. Then the 2 dots looked like my own hands with cuffs around them. The black line bridge.
And the imagery is making me like, it's really nice to look at. You know, it's kind of hard not to stare at it and not think about anything, you know?
A visible chain. The white void had faded to become a hospital room. I was in fact on my back on a hospital bed with my arms taped behind me. I was looking through my legs at my wrists, grazed with the rubbing pressure of police handcuffs around them. And then I yelled, "Get these fucking handcuffs off me! Get them off of me!" In the room with me were a male and female police officer. They had obviously been the people who had lifted me from the Park Lane gutter and taken me to the hospital. The male officer obliged my demand and removed the cuffs, and the female police officer asked me stuff like my name and if I knew where I was. But the best thing I could muster was a brief groan. They both looked a bit frustrated and left me in the room on the hospital bed alone. I was rapidly regaining my sense of self and conscious of reality. I recall that I indeed dropped acid sometime earlier. My hospital surroundings and the amount of cuts and bruises I had were confirmation to me that whatever I'd done, it had seriously backfired big time. I sat on the edge of the hospital bed, noted a number of missing items I had recalled having on my person prior to all of this. I found my pumps in the bedside cabinet and put them on. Then I took my first deliberate steps across the room. The bizarre nature of this entire episode had one final twist installed for me. I recall walking to the door of my single bedroom and opening it. A few feet away from me were the 2 police officers facing each other having an intense conversation about what to do about me. They were so engrossed in their discussion that neither of them noticed as I came out of the room and began walking down the hospital corridor. There was a window that stood from floor to ceiling, the type that pivots in the central vertical axis. So judging that I could fit through the gap, I squeezed through it. There's little left to tell of this story except to say my walk from the hospital to the train station was quite distressing. I was in a lot of pain, had stitches on my chin, my elbow, and hand. My right forearm had swollen up purple, making it look like Popeye's right hook. I was still semi-hallucinating, but very aware of how I nearly died and how I had a lot of explaining to do when I got home to my girlfriend. There were no legal repercussions for giving the police the slip. I had caught a train back home to a village in Suffolk, which was outside of the Norfolk Police's jurisdiction. However, they had contacted my father, who was in Norfolk, so I had quite a bit of explaining to do for him too. In retrospect, it was the worst day of my entire life. It was the closest I can imagine to having full-blown psychosis. I think it was nothing short of a miracle that I didn't end up over someone's car bonnet or worse. Do I believe the monologues and symbols of that day? I'm not entirely sure I do. I now understand the intense adrenaline bursts while hallucinating are responsible for dragging the mind into an abyss of fear in the worst possible scenarios. I kind of feel that I would have had a very bleak outlook for life and reality if I believed for a moment that anything I saw on that trip was true. I've had some other trips which were glorious and the polar opposite of that day. So I tend to agree with Aldous Huxley that heaven and hell are both valid states of consciousness. It all depends on where the person is at and how we navigate through the psychedelic state, which determines which destination we arrive at. If any
Okay, so like emotions, I don't know. I just feel like That's such an edgy take. I disagree. Like, you're just, I don't know. Yeah, this sounds kind of scary as well. Like, I would never do this shit. If I would, I'd probably like lock myself, like handcuff myself to a bed or something, or like do this around family, who some maybe other people are doing it as well. You know, I would, so they could hold me back or something.
Anything puzzles me about that day, it would have to be the blackout I experienced early in the trip. I suspect that if I had not lost consciousness, I probably would have not forgotten that I took a drug and therefore wouldn't have panicked myself into an internal hell fractal. This trip report was shared on October 5th, 2003, and it functions as a cautionary tale as to why you shouldn't experiment with potent psychedelics. But to those who have tried psychedelics, I want you to share your thoughts about this bad trip in the comments down below. And even if you've never
Let's see what people have. Yeah, the comments are not good. I hate the people that do drugs all the time because they're the most ugh, just like they're like every single bad red flag character on the D&D YouTube videos. They're so out of it, so they don't see. They're basically like super neurodivergent at that point, where they think the world is their oyster and it's all fake, so they can do whatever they want, whatever they want, and so it's never a good time. Right, Sam? Right, Sam? There's the kitty kid. Alright, I'm gonna watch a couple more videos and end stream. I know this has just been a react stream, but I just didn't feel like doing anything else. So.
Easy. Oh, I got my IPA! Thank you for the bits,
So,
Birdman.
Ginny, what's the most crunk you've ever gotten?
Like the most drunk? Crunked. Sorry, I'm a little too straight edge. Like, if that means something other than drunk. I'll be honest, I try not to get super drunk. I've done it before, like at parties, and it's never worth it. It really isn't. At parties, I have gotten drunk enough that apparently my nipple, it was out the entire night, and none of my friends told me. I mean, it was fine because we were all like at a friend's house watching movies and shit. But I was gone, man. That was the Jingle Juice night. If for the OGs who remember Jingle Juice, that was maybe one of the worst experiences of my life.
Yeah, like I said before, I don't normally get drunk or anything unless I'm around family or whatever. Because to me, there's no really used to getting drunk all the time, you know? Like, this guy's so stupid, though. Like, he's not a trained professional at all. He has no clue what he's doing. He's just treating like a wild fucking animal as a pet. And just, like, I don't understand, dude. And people, like, keep praising him and shit. It's like, you're just retarded, dude. Wow, no thumbnail. Sure, why not?
Snuffy. You look like this. What the hell is this? It says it's a fun, sexy, and intimate party game for friends, couples, and family. With your family?
A sexy game with your family. What is not
Oh
to
my
love?
god.
Okay, truth or dare?
Truth. Snuffy, I'm an org.
No, we didn't click the 18 version. I didn't know. I didn't know. I thought that.
God, I swear she had like really one model, but then like recently, like I seen her so many different things. I'm like, who the fuck is this person? I mean, whatever she's doing, that's pretty awesome too. That cosplay. Of course, I just hate when people just scream, no matter what. I understand like me trying to yell to make sure y'all can hear me, but I see when people just scream for every little small situation. Piss me off.
It said with your family.
It does say with your family. Where's the family version? Can we do the family version?
I don't know. That was party. What else would you click with your family?
What about classic?
Okay. Which famous? Oh wait, can I?
Snuffy.
Oh my.
What the
okay,
fuck
yeah.
are these questions?
No,
Okay,
no.
let's see the teen one. Let's see the teen one. That one's for kids. Can't be that bad.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I've never used this before, so I didn't know. I thought there would be like more of a safer word version. I'm sorry.
But these are
okay.
like baby ass questions now.
Well, I mean, it's better than that. We either get like really vanilla question or like super baby question.
True. Have you ever lied to a teacher? One time I copied my entire essay I was supposed to write 8 weeks off of Google, and then he knew me pretty well because I was his like proctor or whatever. He's like, did you copy and paste this? I was like, no.
Dude, I did that once too, and I'm kind of mad.
No, I never lied to a professor. Like I never cheated on a test. I don't think so. I know I tried in like middle school, but it didn't work out, so I just never did. To me, like I'd rather just guess than cheat, If I didn't study or forgot there's a test, I just took it and did whatever. Like it's most of the time for me, you pay attention in class. Doing a test, you should be fine. Unless you have no clue what the class is about, then you're just randomly guessing. Yeah, you're not gonna get good, but like I never.
Because like I didn't realize the technology was that far, but apparently my teachers had this thing where like they could like
Yeah, they
figure
can
out
like check.
yeah if it's like copy pasted from like Google. So anytime I did that, I got in trouble. So fuck them, fuck teachers. Okay, do I have to pick now?
Yes.
If I click dare, I wonder what it would be like because it'd be like an
Let's
in-person
see.
thing.
Let's see. Doorbell to your neighbor. Well, Snuffy, are you gonna do it or not? You gonna be a pussy?
You don't even have doorbells. What do I do?
If I did that, it would just be as fan. I'd be like, huh? It's Uber Eats. I don't care.
I'm gonna back out. Next one. I'm trying to win. Oh, okay. Who my best lion war? Okay. Okay. Nobody judge me for this. This is Right, we're not gonna talk about that.
That was sick. That was sick.
Okay, it's your turn.
Oh god. Okay, give me a dare. Wait, what is that?
That's when you put your finger in your mouth and then you put it in your ear. I think.
This is nasty. Take out my earbud. That was regrettable. Now taste it.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Ew,
I'm gonna
Chad.
actually puke.
Oh, she just said that, Chad. She just said she visualizes this greatly. Why would you do that? No, we're really gonna sell that for money. I'll do a truth, I guess.
It's gonna be like, did you ever sneak out of your parents' house?
Have you ever snuck out well grounded? What is my worst habit?
That is a baby ass question. The other ones are probably wait, okay. After this, can we just like cycle through a bunch of the truths and see if they're all like sexual questions?
Is it okay that like we can just skip them though? Like I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. My worst habit, like right now, I feel like I actually have no bad habits anymore. Maybe clenching my teeth, which is just like a baby answer to a baby question.
That is kind of a baby answer. Worst habit.
Oh, I have tons of bad habits. For me, me eating a lot and then sleeping right after eating. My phases of exercising going really hard, then quitting. Easily don't like talking to people when I do. If it doesn't go my way or just feels awkward, I just leave. I don't tell people how I feel directly to their face a lot of times, even though when they're blatantly rude to me, and I kind of just don't walk away. That's more like what I'm supposed to do, but I feel like if I just tell them back, like what they're going to do, even if they do find me, like it's not like they're going to get arrested. Because last time some person punched me in the face, nothing happened, so it's like, whatever,
Not smoking Snuffy. Not
No, I
smoking
don't.
blunts.
I don't smoke.
Your model's. Oh my god, I just saw it. She literally had it.
What?
I saw it, Snuffy. I saw the blunt.
You have no proof.
I literally saw it. It's in the VOD.
Oh god, it's recorded in history.
Pick one, money, fame, or power. Okay, that's a normal question. Do you have okay, that's a baby question. Wait, these are baby. Why was the first one? What celebrity would you frick? Okay, do the party one. Or what are soft drugs?
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Don't do that one. That's what we've learned. That one is really bad. What is that one? And then what is hot 18?
Oh, wait, I just want to see it. Wait, can we just see
Oh
it?
my god.
For
That's not that
money.
bad. That's like less bad than the other one, I feel
That's
like.
not that bad. How'd you
Not
break
that
up?
bad.
Okay.
Okay, I saw the S word like 7 times. So
Oh my god. Those are crazy. Wait, people just casually play these with like their friends?
I really hope not.
It literally says friends, couples, and family. Like your family? Who?
Oh my god. Oh,
What the fuck was that? Chat, did you see that?
I think I saw it. Was it about sucking on stuff?
Yes. All right, Snuffy, truth or dare?
Dare.
This one says take off your bra until the game is finished. You can do this one. Wiggle your ears.
Oh wait, if I blink, I think.
She did it.
Easy.
You're lucky you've earned a 1-minute massage from the player to your right. Okay.
Ooh, hello player to my right.
Okay. What up? Dance like a crazy on your favorite song. I'm just doing the emote. That's not crazy. How does one do crazy dancing?
do like stand up and throw your arms in the air. Do like a spin.
Oh, okay.
I want you to have damage your cosplay though.
Wow, she's so
Oh my God.
crazy. She's so silly.
Fortnite dance. What a silly
Alright,
character.
Snuffy, truth or dare?
I'll do truth.
How many family members? Do you want a juicy question? Or is this good?
I feel like we'll stumble upon them like
Question
sooner than we
turned
want.
True.
It's trying to gauge information. How?
Yeah, no, it's kind of boring. You're not actually doing anything. Just kind of skipping through. All right,
you
Saints
hot?
on.
Is that why you're laying on your kitchen tile? You're so fat.
Are you ready?
I still don't want you, Sam.
Yay, bro.
It's basically.
Are you?
Yeah. Nope. Yeah, that artist. And never mind, it's too far along for people to understand. What the hell? Why aren't you loading shit? I don't know. I think I'm gonna end stream here. Oh, I gotta get rid of that. I'm just gonna end it. I'm really not feeling it right now. I don't want to play a game or anything. Plus, I don't know. Of course, no one really watched. If of course, there's probably like shadow viewers or something, but no one really watched my streams much. I don't know what to do. Like the only time someone kind of watched was when I did the One Piece spoilers or something. So I'm just shy of 2 hours. So